to the Makers of MidCity Podcast. I'm your host, Clark Dunn. And today we have the opportunity to sit down with Henry Family Farms with Kenesha and Toussaint. Henry, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
I'm excited to kind of dive into a little bit about your story and how MidCity kind of integrates into that. But to begin with, talk a little bit about where y'all are originally from and kind of your journey to get here to Huntsville and kind of all the steps along the way.
Okay. So the both of us were born in the beautiful island of Jamaica. And we migrated from Jamaica as children to New Jersey.
Okay.
And that's actually where we met as teenagers. And we grew together in Jersey. From there, I went off to be in the Navy. And I served 10 and a half years in the Navy. And our path crossed again in, in 2002. In 2003, we got married and we moved to Jacksonville, Florida. And we stayed there until 2016.
Okay. And what was the move to Jacksonville with your work or like how and then I guess in Jacksonville is where you started your first sort of entrepreneurial endeavor where you opened up a restaurant there. That
is correct. Yes, you are absolutely right. So the reason for being in Jacksonville, Florida, I was still in the military. And so my duty station then was in Mayport in Jacksonville, Florida. That's where my duty station was. And so while we now got married and we saw an opportunity to start a Jamaican restaurant. The interesting thing is we saw the growth of the naval base and the strip leading into the naval base was growing. So we thought, hey, this would be a great opportunity to establish a Jamaican restaurant. And it was also only around 7 or so minutes from the beach. So it was like,
wow.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Jamaican
perfect location.
Restaurant, good island vibes and so forth. So we started our first entrepreneurial endeavor, as you mentioned, called Negro's Paradise Jamaican Restaurant.
Okay. And so what was the response like and kind of what was both y'all's roles in the restaurant? Were you still working your engineering job in the military or kind of how did you balance that?
Oh, it was a struggle. Yes, I was still working. I was still in the Navy at the time. So interestingly, as I mentioned, our restaurant was not too far from the base. So during lunchtime, I would actually leave and come to the restaurant and go make deliveries.
Wow.
So it was a grind during the daytime, lunch. I am at the restaurant, and then immediately after work, I am at the restaurant.
Wow.
So we were just grinding it out together.
Yeah. And then to talk a little bit about how the cuisine and how you kind of developed that at the restaurant, Kenesha, and just how and then what was that? How long did y'all have that restaurant in Jacksonville?
So it was the restaurant was a family affair. So it was me, our daughter, his aunt. So we all pulled together to make it happen. I was the cashier, cook, delivery driver.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Wherever I was needed, that's the role I played and try to support my husband in his dream. So it was a great endeavor. I want to say, over 2 years?
Yes.
2 years we had the business for.
Yes, we did. That business ran a short stint because of obligation to the military. My wife became pregnant with our first child together. So we had to make some major decisions there.
Yeah.
But interestingly now is that then we had the customary Jamaican cuisine, and you'll find out why I said then in a little bit. So we had the curry goat, the curry chicken, the oxtail, fish, and so forth, jerk chicken, etc. So we had the customary Jamaican style menu. And I say then because not going ahead, but fast forward now, it's a little something different.
Yeah. And so has cooking always been a passion of yours kind of throughout just growing up and kind of when that move to Jacksonville happened, it was like now's a good time to kind of open this restaurant and kind of make that passion into like a physical, have a physical location for all this food?
Well, yes, for the both of us. So many Jamaicans, or most Jamaicans, have an entrepreneurship spirit. We grew up in an environment to where we're taught from very young, go out there, do something, hustle, and just trying to make something work. So the both of us grew up in an environment to where we saw our parents always cooking, selling. And I know for my wife in Jersey, her dad did the same thing. Every year there will be an annual festival in New York. And I'll let her tell that part. But for me, my dad, he was a banquet manager for the Holiday Inn Hotel in New Jersey, where I grew up. So I saw him cooking, I saw him managing. And so I've always had an entrepreneur spirit about myself. And so merging the entrepreneurship with the cooking, it just became natural.
Yeah, it seemed like a perfect fit. You want to talk a little bit about that family big affair and kind of how, that inspiration and seeing your family do this huge, event and put on all this food, I would assume kind of has translated into the work you even did in Jacksonville and even the work you do today here in Huntsville.
Yes, I would say definitely my father played an important role in our development. From age 9, I just see him cooking, always Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's just always something going on. And then he had a mini bar downstairs. So he had always had food and drinks going. So I was always involved, whether running the grill, frying something, stewing, making soups. And there was always people coming in, picking up a plate to go. So that was always something. And my stepmom, which she's an amazing chef, baker. Even today, they have a large restaurant.
Wow.
My brother also have a food truck.
Wow.
So
it's a family affair. Everyone does a little bit of
my
something.
other sister in Florida has her food truck and restaurant.
Wow.
Yes.
So food is always happening, that's the love language. So it's just a part of us. And we see that now in our daughter, she's a chef.
Oh, wow.
So it's one generation, the next generation. So we're just so excited to feed people.
Oh, for sure. And so to talk a little bit about how the move to Huntsville came about, and what was either your expectation of Huntsville, or what did you know about Huntsville prior to coming here?
That is, that's going to take a while. But the condensed version of that is I graduated with my MBA and I was looking for a job. Needed something to do. And so we started looking, and that was 2015. However, we wanted to stay in Florida. We wanted to stay in that area, but we were not getting or having any success with jobs there. So my wife suggested to just broaden our search. So we said, okay, we will go as far as Virginia. And we opened up our search. And so Huntsville popped up, and I received an offer from Redstone Arsenal. And so that is what brought us here, a job working at Redstone Arsenal as a contractor. And so that's what brought us to Jacksonville in 2016. Now, Huntsville, correction. As far as being here, it has been an awesome, pleasant surprise. Huntsville was not on the radar. We weren't thinking about Huntsville.
Yeah.
I don't think we knew a couple folks that have graduated from Oakwood University. Well, then Oakwood College. Okay, that is as much as we knew about Huntsville. But other than that, it was not on our radar. But it had turned out to be an awesome thing for us, because when we first relocated here, our children then, they were 10 and 7 years old. So the family dynamics is great here. Lots of things to do outdoor. The city is clean, is a developing city, and is very family oriented, quiet and so forth. So yes, we like being here. Yeah.
So in 2016, you get here. When did Henry Family Farms kind of come about? And then was it something that you knew you wanted to do eventually, or was it just kind of like the opportunity came and it was a good timing?
Interesting. I was starting there. My wife will pick up. You know what? I think that the concept of having a family farm have always been a part of us, but we just didn't realize it. What do I mean? As mentioned earlier, cooking is a part of us. Hospitality, feeding people. We love that interaction. Okay, so that have always been there. And my wife also, something else that her family do, and they do very well, is that her side of family, they actually farmed in Jamaica. Okay, so she grew up around farming, and when we moved to Jacksonville, Florida, in our backyard, that's when we actually we had a nice little plot in the backyard, and that's when we started cultivating.
Wow.
We would actually go to the zoo. And we will get compost from the zoo. We got dirt, and we build up our raised bed, and we started planting.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, one year we actually grew
Papayas.
a papaya tree.
Wow.
Now that far up north in Florida is risky, right? We planted it in April. And I think around September, October, we had these huge papayas on the trees. And we had the first frost and wiped it out. Okay, so the remnants, if you will, of Henry's family farm started from way back. And then when we came to Huntsville, again, now we had more acres, or more land with our home in Huntsville. And so again, that cultivation started. My wife was growing peppers and so forth, and we wanted more land. So finally, we were blessed in 2020, January 2020, to acquire 15 acres in Fayetteville, Tennessee.
Okay.
And COVID hit. I was afforded the opportunity, like many, to work from home. And in March, we just started to plant. We started to cultivate. And my wife will pick up to where in June, and actually March and in May of that year, in 20, someone suggested something to us.
Yes, 2020 summer, a friend of mine said to me, "What are you going to do with all these vegetables?"
Yeah, we had so much.
I don't know, maybe a CSA. I was thinking of the CSA. I was doing researches and see what CSA was about. And a friend of mine said, "Hey, you consider going to MidCity?" And I'm like, "MidCity? What's that?" So I went online and looked up MidCity Farmers Market. And so I was kind of hesitant. She was hesitant. She was like, she wanted to apply it, and she was kind of afraid to be denied. And so I said, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and apply. So I pull up the application and fill it out and say, "Hey, we are a veteran zone. We're organic farmers. We have vegan desserts, flowers." And to my surprise, that very same week, I got a response back and says, "Hey, we would love to have you guys please come out to the market." Told my husband about it. We packed up. And you've
been at the market ever since.
Ever since.
Wow.
Ever since.
2020.
And how has, and I know you've now attended even more markets than just MidCity, but what was that response like when you went to your first MidCity farmers market, makers market, so to speak, where there's a variety of not just produce and there's a variety of everything. What was a response from the community like at that time? Okay,
let's back up a little bit there. But before we got to MidCity, our friends, they were actually at Oakwood Farmers Market, right? Which opened up, I think it was May or June of that year. And so what happened, as I mentioned, that we just started to grow things, right? And one of the things that my wife started to grow was zucchinis. And we had a lot of zucchinis. And it was like, what do we do with all this zucchini? Mind you, it's COVID. There's not a lot of interaction. So it's like, what do we do with all these zucchinis? Our friends who were bakers, they were actually at the Oakwood Farmers Market. And it was like, why not just make zucchini bread? It was like, okay. And then they suggested with the other produce that we have, just bring them to the market. So it was like, okay. And so we tried it. And it was a hit. I mean, we were surprised. People liked the produce and they liked the zucchini bread. And then from there, my wife started to bake other things like banana bread and so forth. And so that was the birth, if you will, the real birth of Henry's Family Farm.
Yeah.
And so by June, we was like, okay, we're going to make this a official business.
Wow. And then the other markets kind of started coming after that.
Exactly. And, you know, backing up to where my wife said, those same friends, it was like, hey, we're going to apply to MidCity. They told us about MidCity, and that's where we came to MidCity.
And that was early on, and like obviously MidCity's completely changed and the growth of the market.
Yes.
I mean, it's insane how much it's grown. How, like, comparing MidCity market when you first came to what it is today when you come, talk a little bit about some of the differences and how you've kind of had to adapt to the growth that probably the farm itself has had and the reputation it has, but also the size of the market.
Oh, yes. The vendor size has changed dramatically space-wise. Because when we first came, I want to say it was maybe 10, 15. Some weeks varies, you know, some vendors were every other week, some was every week, but it was a very small amount of us.
Yeah.
And some people did not want to come out because of the, you know, COVID, social distance, but we stuck with it. And we did what we had to do, and we buckled down, and we faithfully came every week, even when it rained. We were there.
Wow.
So we were in for it for a long haul. So each year we just keep getting bigger and better, and just Lindsay did an amazing job coming in and management and feedback. It was just amazing market, and especially the last market of the year. Thousands of people flooded the market. And then with publicity, we were all over social media.
Wow.
So every vendors were required to post it on their Facebook or Instagram, and that brought a crowd, and we just started building clientele. MidCity grew our business. It was an amazing adventure, you know, just by faith, and just each and every day and every week we came out. It was just more people just keep flooding, and they just brought the people. So with their influence and their social media and marketing, it just grew our business.
Yeah, and I must give a huge shout out to Lindsay.
Yes.
She has been awesome, and she has been instrumental to our business, along with MidCity. She wrapped our arms around us. If we need anything, any questions, she's always there. Lots of support. I believe it was 2021. She and a crew actually came out, a production crew actually came out to our farm, and you know, and they included us in a promotional clip that they were doing for MidCity. And you know what, we were really blessed by that, and that provided some validation for us, and we'll never forget that. So MidCity have been instrumental to the growth of our business. Even when, you know, we wanted to, I guess you could say, expand to where we wanted to bring on a food truck. So concept, Henry's Family Farm is we grow all our produce naturally. Okay, we don't do any of those pesticides and so forth. We grow our products naturally. And then from the natural produce that we have, we incorporate them into different baked items, juices, and prep meals. Like, for instance, we make our own hot sauce. We actually grow the peppers.
Oh, wow.
And we put our own natural herbs in it, like thyme and so forth, that we grow ourselves. So it's fresh, it's authentic. Okay, you don't have to worry about the chemicals, etc. As mentioned before, the zucchini beds, we grow the zucchini, so it's not a paste, it's actual zucchini that's in it. Or cucumber juice, we actually grow the cucumber, et cetera, hand pressed juices, and with the prep meals that we prepare, our zesty walnut burger, we were blessed to actually win the best walnut burger in Huntsville, in 22, I believe, in 2022. And so I made that from scratch. So when we were ready now to launch that portion, you know, we reached out to Lindsay, and she made it happen.
Yeah.
You know, so now we are excited to come to MidCity, because it's almost like a storefront, you know. honestly, for the cost, for what we pay, and for the return, it's an awesome relationship to where every Sunday you can actually come out, set up your storefront, for a minimal cost. And the vendors, they know where to find us because we're in the same spot, and they come over and we have some great conversations.
Yeah.
That's what I love. That's what we love about being here at MidCity. The vendors are awesome. They're faithful.
Yeah, and it's incredible just to hear how from the farmers markets, from that first opportunity of like, I don't know I don't know what people are going to expect to the now seeing that you've developed all the way to this, having a food truck and doing all these variety of different things. And one thing that we have on the table, for anyone that's watching, is your CSA program. Talk a little bit about what that program is, and then kind of how throughout the year your faithful customers get to kind of experience the foods that you're growing with you.
Okay, yes. The CSA is community supported agriculture. So we have clients that invest upfront in farmers, and we grow the products for you. And throughout the growing season, you get to eat with us. So we grow the organic vegetables. We pack actually a box of fresh vegetables, whatever we're growing. You get a little bit of it, and we bring it right to your door.
Wow.
So all we ask is leave a large cooler outside with ice packs, and we load it up, ring the bell, and we are off.
Wow.
So, and we also keep in a communication group with each other, so you know what's coming, recipes, what to expect, what's happening on the farm. So we build a relationship over the years, and family love it. It's convenient, and it helps the farmers to be able to get their seeds up front, prep their soil, get everything going. And it's a blessing, and it's been very supportive. And so this year we actually have pickup at MidCity. So we have some individuals that will rather come to the market, shop with other vendors as well, and come and pick up our CSA.
Oh, wow.
So it's been an amazing journey. We love it. It's growing. Fresh box of produce at your door.
Yeah, it's hard. That's hard to beat for sure. And I would, and like all the information for people to kind of join the program or find more information, we'll have a link to your website in the episode notes.
Yes.
So if anyone's listening or watching, they can visit the notes and find out more information. I think that was one of the coolest things I saw on your website. I was like, that is such a unique thing, and I'm just not aware that of others that do it. So it was such a cool thing to see. If someone is listening and they're either like a maker or they're considering coming to MidCity's market and considering applying, what sort of advice would you give if they're on the fence?
If they're going to apply?
Yeah.
Well, I know that they need more diversity, more farmers. They need more vendors, flowers, so we can enhance. But definitely they're looking for more farmers. So stick with it, work hard, and try to do something else that no one else is doing. They like that creativity as well. So it helps a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. I will echo that. It's diversity. A lot of people that we speak to, matter of fact, farmers markets are trending a whole lot. Since we have been here in 2016 in the Huntsville area, we have seen major growth, especially in the food truck arena that have taken off. And when we speak to individuals, folks are genuinely excited about the farmers market. And I believe, I don't think I'm saying anything that I'm not supposed to say, but I believe that MidCity Farmers Market has some very ambitious goals, which we're excited about, to want to be able to have a farmers market that we can operate all year round and don't have to worry about the rain and so forth. I think folks are actually looking forward to that, and I am excited about that. So if anyone wants to come here, I think that diversity brings something unique. Be excited about the opportunity and know that it's an awesome opportunity. And as the city is just booming and just growing, if you plant your flag here, I just about guarantee if you plant your flag and you stick to it, that you would do very well. From a business perspective, for the minimum cost, which I believe is awesome and very reasonable. I don't think that there's anywhere that you'll be able to get the best bang for your buck. If you think about it, this market opens up the second week of March and run all the way to November 15th.
Yeah,
that's a good run and an opportunity to do awesome on your bottom line. So
yeah, and I think that that advice of just sticking with it and and knowing that like there might be days or there might be markets that there's not great weather or it's just really hot, but like just sticking with it, showing up, being consistent it goes a long way.
Yeah, awesome. Because again, for me, my experience, there's a great team here, and whenever we wanted to try anything different, we would share it, and they say, hey, okay, let's take a look at that, and they take a look at that, and they would take a look at it, and oftentimes we get the green flag. So they here at MidCity, they do encourage individuals, to try new things, and it's a partnership. It's a partnership. If you have an idea, share. And those in management and marketing, they actually do listen.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking the last little bit talking about your story, the story to get here to Huntsville. And it's incredible just to see the growth you've had with Henry Family Farms here in Huntsville over the course of your time here. And I continue to look forward to the growth you'll have in years to come. I think the sky's the limit. And I think having conversations like this about what it is you're doing, I think further gets the story of Henry Family Farms out there. So I appreciate you being here today.
Yeah. Thank you for having us. And, stay tuned to Henry's Family Farm. We look forward to doing some more awesome things in the city of Huntsville.